What's going on, guys? This is Mauricio back at the High Tech Studios. Today we are going to be going over how to tint a 2024 Lexus TX. We're gonna go ahead and do a bottom load video on this one, so let's go ahead and stay tuned. So for those who prefer to bottom load their vehicles, you're in for a treat. The Lexus TX is probably one of the most simple ones to remove the sweep on. All you do is just pop the corners. You'll have access to the sweep and you can go ahead and just pull it right out. So here's the full sweep. Go ahead and set it aside, and now you have plenty of space to load that film. Now it does have a big spot here where you can't reach the full glass, and this is the reason why bottom loading really works in these situations, because there's not a lot of space here. So by removing the sweep, you're able to go all the way down to the bottom. Now for the back doors, the process essentially would be the same. You wanna go ahead and pull at the corners here. This is going to allow you to reach that sweep and go ahead and pull it out. Now, this sweep here is only gonna be the length of the roll down window. The little gasket that goes on the small quarter, essentially you can move and you're able to tuck the film underneath. So let's go ahead and do the rest of the vehicle. All right, so now that your sweep is off, what you wanna go ahead and do is just prep your panel so you can start installing it. Go ahead and use your preferred panel cover here. We're gonna go ahead and set that on there. We're also gonna go ahead and just go back to our rear window and do the same thing. And you're gonna go ahead and just wipe that top edge. What you wanna do is just go ahead and flush your edges and go get your film. You're gonna go ahead and start off in your front corner there. Guide that down. Make sure that this edge is flat. You're gonna go ahead and push it all the way down to the bottom. Simply go ahead and line up your top edge here. Make sure it's consistent all the way through. Once your edge is lined up, what you wanna go ahead and do is just spray your glass. Give it your initial soft pass here. This is one of the benefits of bottom loading. As you can see, we can get all the way down into that edge without hitting the actual panel. You know, you wanna go ahead and go all the way to the top. Now we're gonna go ahead and go with our hard squeegee here. Make sure we're extracting all of the water from behind that film. And once again, give it one last spray. And what you wanna do is just go ahead and squeegee out that lower half of the glass. And now we're gonna go ahead and go down with the tri-edge for the remaining moisture behind those seals. And that's how you bottom load the window on a 2024 Lexus TX. All right, so the process for this rear window will be exactly the same. Go ahead and make sure that the window is nice and clean. Go ahead and grab our pattern. Now when you're bottom loading this side, you want to also start on this edge. Make sure that the bottom edge is flat. Push it to this edge. Make sure that your film is not bunching up here. You want to line up your top edge here. Make sure it's consistent all the way through. Lastly, go ahead and spray and do your first soft pass. The way I like to squeegee, if you can see here, is just create a T, locking your top edge, split the film. Since we're not shrinking, we want to go ahead and make sure that we stretch the film out so that way we don't get any fingers. Once you do that, grab your tri-edge and go all the way up. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and air peel this. I don't like to spray the window because that can release any contaminants that may be inside those gaskets there. So we're just gonna spray our film and set our bottom. Make sure that there's no light gaps. You want to come to the outside, make sure you have full coverage. Same thing on this side. Go ahead and just pop open the gasket, the bottom. Once everything is in position, go ahead and get your squeegee. So now that the side windows are finished, let's go ahead and go to the back glass. Now for the rear window, we want to go ahead and remove the cover here. The way you do so is just simply pop this up, and this will give you plenty clearance if you don't want to remove it. All right, so there's your bolt. Now all you want to do is just go ahead and wiggle until you pop it off. So once the glass is clean, we're going to spray our mixture of ivory soap and isopropyl alcohol. You'll see it start to haze up, and once it's fully dry, you're able to go ahead and set your film. So this is going to be a 2024 Lexus TX. We're going to go to our nest section, adjust the size. So we're going to be using a 40-inch roll, and we want to maximize the amount of space. So you normally want to cut out your rear quarters to go with the back glass. As you can see, it kind of goes over a little bit, so we're wasting a little bit of film. So what you want to do is just go ahead and hold Alt on your keyboard, this on Windows, and use the left arrow key or right arrow key to adjust. And this will rotate the pattern in a very precise way. Let's go ahead and get that to the plotter. Go ahead and feed it out and cut out your pattern. So I like to go ahead and wet my felt squeegee here to create a wet spot on the glass. So you could just pretty much go all the way across. And what this will do is this will allow you to do a good little lock into the film to separate the top from the bottom. You want to go ahead and grab your film and position that as high up as you can. This way you're clearing this wiper section here. Pull and go ahead and lock that down. Same thing on this side. Lift and pull and lock down your line. So now you have your film separated top to bottom, and you're able to get that full shrink even with this spoiler. Now when I'm shrinking, what I like to do is lock in my corners. So I don't do the full H. As you can see, it's still open. What you want to do is just go ahead and grab your heat gun and shrink about an inch away. And you're kind of just feeding the film downwards. Let's go ahead and heat that. There we go. So now that that's done, let's do the same thing for the top. Go ahead and shrink, go up. And now we're going to finish the remainder of that shrink. And here what you're doing, you're just pretty much allowing the film to shrink itself. You're not adding any pressure by, pushing it down. What this method does is it allows you to shrink without, or at least by minimizing the chance of you actually creasing the film because you're pressing down too early. So just let the film shrink here and go ahead and lock it down. So once you're comfortable with your shrink, go ahead and start peeling the excess. And what I mean by the excess, since we plotter cut this, we have the excess film. The reason we leave the excess film is so that way, whenever you're shrinking, you're not burning through the liner portion first, and you're getting that full shrink. Now you have this little piece here. What you can do is just go ahead and pop that down. This will give you enough space to get that film in there without worrying about hitting that. Now, once you're sure that there is no light gaps, go ahead and lightly mist. You're gonna set your film and make sure that the film hasn't moved on you. You're just gonna go ahead and work in quadrants here. Now, if you shrunk this correctly, this should be a fairly quick install. No fingers will pop up. That's your first pass. Go ahead and spray, and we're gonna do our final pass now. Go ahead and just wipe all the plastics here. Snap this trim piece back. So you can see, pretty simple install. The shrink goes really sweet on the outside. Before you come and do the installation, just make sure all your fingers are gone. Now, as you can see, there is no fingers on this glass, meaning that we did a good job on the shrinking. So that's it for the back glass, guys. Now to place this back, we're just pretty much gonna do everything in reverse. Go ahead and pop it up so it lays as flat as possible. Once it's in place, grab your bolt, hand tighten, put the wiper down, snap into place, and that's it. So once you have your film here, just make sure that it's in the right position. We're gonna go ahead and air peel this. Spray the film, that way you just reduce any static. Peel that off, and then go ahead and lay your film and go ahead and lock down your film so that you can do all your squeegeeing in here. Now, typically if you use that squeegee pattern there, you'll avoid any fingers from popping up on these. Let's go ahead and grab our hard squeegee and just once it's done, go ahead and give it its final clean here. And that's it. Now, to reinsert the sweep back into these, it's really simple. Go ahead and lower your window. Make sure that the felt is facing the window itself. Slide that right into this piece here. You're gonna go ahead and just simply slide it down. Now, once it sits flat, go ahead and put this little cover over. Seal, it should go over that little plus sign here. And then you're just pretty much snapping it back into place, roll the window up, and that's it. We're going to be using our ceramic plus 70 on this one. So once you have the film cut out, we're just gonna go ahead and just line it up, making sure that we have full coverage on both sides. All right, guys, so we're about to start the shrinking on the windshield. So we're going to be using our ceramic plus 70 on this. It shrinks very well. You just want to let the heat do its work. That way you minimize any chance of potentially creasing this film. Now the ceramic edge on this dot matrix, you have plenty of space to shrink underneath it. Go ahead and do the top portion. Now if you start feeling that there's too much tension being in that corner, you go ahead and just lift it up and release it. Go ahead and reset it and apply the heat. You give it a slight little pull. All right, guys, so for this windshield, this one has very minimal room from the edge. So what we want to do is just, whenever we're making this cut, just be very careful not to cut it short. You want to allow enough space that you are covering the dot matrix. Let's roll up the windshield. Make sure not to leave any dry spots. So now once everything with the slip here, you're gonna go ahead and start at your bottom corner and get yourself a tight roll going. You're gonna make sure that you're going even. Now once you've passed the rearview mirror, you can go ahead and just pull it your way. Finish rolling the rest. Now for this, what you want to do is go ahead and unroll. The liner will be stuck to your film. Once you get to the mirror, what you want to do is go ahead and release the remaining liner. You're going to drop the roll, line up this side of the mirror, make sure that your bottom edge is flat, and finish unrolling. Now for those that like to go above and beyond for their customers, go ahead and clean the outside of the glass for them. That way you can show off your work. Now a lot of people I've seen don't clean the windows necessarily, but again, it's all about presentation. So if you provide good work and you do these little extra steps, this is what's gonna set you apart from your competition here.